Okay. Well, I'm Molly from Ohio State, the Ohio State University, I should actually say. But I actually live in Florida. So the one thing that is unique about this election for me is I am from 2 different swing states, but I'm actually registered in Ohio. And I feel like Ohio is a little bit more important in this election because it's, in my opinion, a battleground of where we came from 4 years ago, being at the number 49th in the nation in job creation, and now being number 9 and number 1 in the Midwest, creating over 10,000 private sector jobs. So for me, I feel like Ohio is going to be a little bit more important to show that, you know, a state can do something without the federal government's help. So that's a little bit why I feel Ohio is a little bit more important. So being from Florida, especially with Marco Rubio rising, coming to the top, I think what is important about him is that he's a younger politician. He speaks more to the American people. He speaks to the common person, the American. He's come from not only this background of money, he's strived his way, he worked his way up. And I think that a lot of Americans can resonate with that, which is important because apparently, as Obama says, nobody didn't work for their success. People did it for them, and I personally believe that he worked for his success. So you being from Florida, you have a little bit, I mean, me as well, but you really live there, so you have a little bit better perspective on what's going on. So.
Well, Molly, you are definitely correct, and we are all here because we truly believe in our country. You know, I was born in Cuba. I came when I was 6 with my mom on a plane. My dad actually built his own boat and came before me, crossing the ocean, was captured at sea, and sent to Guantanamo Bay. People come into this country because of freedom and opportunity, and this is what this election is about.
Exactly.
It's about freedom. It's about the opportunities for the American worker to be able to rise up and create their own small business and take the risk, something that they're not doing because of the regulation that is going on in our country.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a Florida State College Republican student. First of all, my name is Alejandro, Molly. And I'm from Florida. My parents are from Miami. And is it on?
Yeah. It's on.
Well, my parents are from Miami. I'm currently in Tallahassee, majoring in political science and international affairs. Gonna be in the convention in Tampa this August.
Oh,
super excited. Don't be jealous.
I want to be there.
We all want to be there.
Important. I want to be there.
But the important thing is about this election is young people. What is the conservative movement doing to energize young people like ourselves to get out there in the streets and promote the conservative message in a genuine way, like Ronald Reagan? I mean, in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan spoke about a new beginning. You know, it's about a new beginning.
Energizing the American
people.
people.
It inspired people. It got people out there and make a difference.
Especially from the hard time that we are coming from and where we're at now.
It's like it's very similar. The perspective and everything is hard times, recession, going up, and getting that new movement of young conservatives.
You're correct, Amanda. And you know what? The left have been pandering to Latinos and African Americans in different ways.
They're hitting every interest group that they possibly can, and everything they're saying is not true. They're not doing anything that's going to make promises, but it's filling the minds of these people of false promises.
I think it stands for something when Romney went and visited the NAACP the other day and Obama didn't, because it comes back to where it was these empty political rhetoric where, like 4 years ago, he spoke to the NAACP and then the African community and about all this change, and then you look and like, there's no change.
No hope.
So the fact that he didn't even want to come and speak again shows a lot that like I just wonder what that's going to be, whereas Romney at least like was able to try to go and say that we have plans, we have a difference, like we can actually make that change for you that Obama promised 4 years ago.
And I think what's important, us coming from a very liberal college, Ohio State, I'm in College Republicans. I'm also involved in various other conservative groups. What I find most important about being on a liberal college, I mean, 65,000 students is quite a lot.
It's not a very university.
Exactly, and it's not a very large college Republican organization, but it's very strong. And the students that are on our campus that are conservative are very passionate. And I think is most important about this election is to empower the conservative youth, because they feel like they don't have a voice after the past 4 years of the liberal media being so absorbed by the Obama administration and not being able to stand up and say, I am a conservative, I don't agree with what he's doing, and I want to stand up and say, hey, let's open our eyes, let's not be afraid to speak out against limited government and less regulation, and allowing our voices, which are going to be so important in this election and elections to come. In my opinion, opinion, I think in our generation, this might be the most important election.
And it's the first one we get to vote in.
This is my first election to vote.
Me as a citizen, hey.
No, that's great.
It's going to be quite the challenge. You know, the first time that I voted in the primary back in Florida, where all the candidates were running, I just went into the booth and I almost cried.
No, and that's stories like that. When people say America's not built on success, but when you come here, like you said, it's built on freedom and liberty, and we've lost that over the last 4 years.
Exactly. We need this election is all about capturing what the government is just like going too big on taking away our freedoms. Like a topic of conversation today is the regulations and like just going over.
You guys saw like a couple of days ago there was a news article by Fox News saying that 55% of Americans believe that the federal government has overstepped its boundaries. They're large. We need to go back to limited government and constitutional government because that is what we believe.
A government that serves its people and protects its people. Like Ronald Reagan said, it's here to protect its people.
The Constitution America's Constitution is the greatest in the world, and it's also the shortest in the world. And that shows something. Like back in like this, when it was established, it's worked for 200 some years over that, and it's worked amazing. We have the best country in the world, and yet we're trying to get so far away from that, and I just don't see why. Like we need to go back to those founding principles, what we were made on, because that is what success. That's the foresight of our founding fathers that have got us this far.
And we've lost that over the last 4 years.
We are tired of the left manipulation on society.
Yes.
We're tired of the
media.
pandering. We're tired of the division. The conservative movement is here to rise up, to empower the American people. Especially the young people.
Those who can vote, even if you can't vote, the fact that you are aware of the issues and you understand the issues, and that doesn't mean because you can't vote doesn't mean you can't do something, and that's also something to convey to the more younger conservative youth. And it's not even just the conservative youth, it's the youth in general. It's getting them involved and knowing that this election is so important. So in my opinion, exactly. Yeah.
That's what I want to ask you now. I've listened to all three of you. You say it's important to get the youth involved in the conservative movement. How can you do that? You yourself just said you have a liberal media that has misrepresented the youth movement in this country. You guys heard me ask Alan West this morning, what could he tell you that would make you understand that you really are the key in November and you've got an undaunting task at hand? How can you do it knowing that the media is going to try to marginalize you?
Well, in my opinion, in my opinion, there's a lot more conservatives out there than we think. Going to a liberal college, they're afraid to come out of the woodwork. They really are, trust me, because when you're walking through our large oval, it's just terrifying. I think the most important thing to prove that the youth is important and conservative youth is going to be a huge movement is just start going out and talking. Set up different events on campus. You know, start putting Mitt Romney's name out there because he's the presumed nominee. Start getting it out there because when Obama came to our campus to kick off his re-election campaign, and I had his supporters running around, will you volunteer, will you volunteer, will you volunteer? That's not the way to go about it. Stand out there, even just wearing your Mitt Romney t-shirt or talking about the conservative youth or getting people involved in showing that there's college Republicans or other conservative active groups on campus, in my opinion. I mean, going to a school of 65,000 students, show that not to be afraid to stand up in a liberal college.
You know, that is one of the most important questions is how do we get the young people involved? And it's simple. You have organizations like the American Heritage Foundation, Young Americans Foundation, Cato, the Leadership Institute, the Heritage Foundation. They're working to train, and the Eagles Forum, they're working to train young conservatives about the future, you know, about activism. How do we get there? You know, part of being an intern at the Leadership Institute is that I get to deal with grassroots involvement in every state. And how do we...
Powerful,
right, it is so powerful.
Reach out to.
It's about reaching out to the constituency, and it's about telling them, look, it's all about a grassroots development organization. You have to get out the vote. It's about GOT, you know, get out the vote efforts. And in Florida, I'm very involved. I on my own free time, I go and I speak to people, whether it's a Tea Party group or talk to people.
Bring it back.
People want you there, and they want to listen to you.
You talk to them, not a teleprompter.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Enough of the rhetoric. We need people who are going to listen, and this is what this election is about, and the conservative movement is here to listen, and we welcome anybody who shares our beliefs to join our side, because we believe in limited government, freedom, and opportunity.
Yes, exactly. Those three things sum it up perfectly.
Thank you.
All right, we're getting ready to get started again. One last question. Your host, Ms. Phyllis
Can I just say one? Inspiring.
Powerful.
You know, she's a lady of true conservative values, and I actually just joked about it with her. I told her, look, ma'am, you remind me of Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister Thatcher. I don't know how to pronounce that perfect. Right. And, sí, hablo español. She is a conservative woman who is fighting for what is right in our country, and that is what we need right now. We need to empower the American people, and we truly believe in that, and that is what we need.
She's definitely a role model. This is an incredible thing for all of us to go to.
Especially for women, young women, conservative women who are just battered by the media and people around us. She is inspiring to me, and I'm sure her to know that being a woman and being a conservative youth is so important, that you can make a difference, and then what she's done.
Yeah, and the speakers that she's had, like with Michelle Bachmann, and like that's just a great woman, like conservative woman.
She empowers other people to empower. It's like a chain effect, in my opinion, that she just empowers.
The man coming here and talking to us about the importance of term limits, but the importance about American exceptionalism.
Exactly.
Being at the top of the change. We do not want to become the next Europe. We want to remain the most powerful country in the world.
People will say that it's not a good thing if we're the best.
We have a strong America.
Yeah, but I mean, we are that exceptional, like they said, the nation on the hill, like that enlightened beacon.
We want to be a beacon for the world.
Because you know what? We believe in America.
All right, one last question real quick. Phyllis Schlafly. Needed, necessary, and as important, if not more important, in 2012 than 72? Yes or no? I said, after 40 some odd years doing what this woman has done, is she just as needed and important and powerful today?
Look, she's empowering the youth right here. And
all of us right here are getting excited.
I mean, just look around you. How many